Hey y'all, welcome to the blending mode class at Hummy's World. If you are just stumbling upon this lesson, please go to www.hummysworld.com and begin the blending mode class from the beginning so that you can learn as these lessons compound on each other. If you've gone all the way through, once again, welcome to this lesson. And in this lesson, we are learning about the technique of the dodge and burn tool and using that with blending modes. And as we've said before, in this part of the class, we're giving you a texture to use, but you can use a combination of any of the textures previously in the class. Just get us a screenshot of your layers palette so and give us the recipe and written instructions, however you want to do it, of what you did to arrive at your image. For me, we're deconstructing and reconstructing, and you're seeing what I did right here on the screen. So let's deconstruct, which basically means turn off all the visibility and turn them back on to reconstruct one at a time. This solid color background, I couldn't get this image to stretch. I'm doing all of mine in 8x8 and I've been stretching my images, but this one looked funny when I stretched it. So let me get this stuff off of here so you can see the original image. Back to deconstructing. So this image actually looked a little bit odd when I stretched it, and so I said, well, I'm going to have to do something a little bit different, and I got my eyedropper tool and found a color from the background and used the Control U and move the sliders around until I got something I thought worked. The lighter background with the darker image made the darker image more of a focal point. So that's where I started. Now the next thing I did was, and actually these were merged together. Let me bring this, let me see, like that. So, well, I'm trying to get it to where I can show you what I did without seeing the final image. This may confuse some of you, so here is the before and after the dodging and burning. Let me zoom out. I think when it's little you can see the effect more. On and off, on and off. So you can see, oh, you can't see it very well because I have that image on and off, on and off. So you can see how the highlight changes on the image. Here's the original. You can see the background, I'll zoom in a little bit, is very bright, and watch how it changes so it's darker. And then also look at the flowers, how they get brighter. Here's original, and here's with the dodge and burn. And then also look at how you get the drama effect in the bridge before and after. So I'm going to move this back up and put it back with the original. And we're going to kind of show you how to do this. Create a new layer above your image layer and get 50% gray as your foreground color. Just put 0, 0, and 50% in the HSB, or in RGB you can put 127 or 128, and that would be 50% gray. And then I'm going to click, it's in my foreground color, so I'm going to click Alt backspace, and it's going to fill that layer in with 50% gray. And then I'm going to hold down my my Alt key, and hover between the two layers and click down, and now that has grouped it with the photo layer, so it only applies to the photo layer, not to the green background. And then next, I'm going to apply the overlay blending mode. Now with 50% gray, you'll remember from the overlay blending mode lesson, it makes no change on our image. However, you will remember that if it got darker than 50% gray or lighter than 50% gray, it made a change. And so what we're going to do from here is to get first the dodge tool, and I'm going to zoom in and make my brush. I just have a small soft brush, and I'm going to dodge wherever my focal point is, which is the flowers. I wanted people to have their eyes drawn. That was a bad stroke there. Can't seem to round that bend. I wanted their eyes to be drawn to the flowers. So I'm just giving them a little bit of focal weight by making them brighter. Now, your image is going to be totally different than mine. Your focal image might be different, or maybe you're just going to be adding some light to various parts of a field of flowers to lighten them, so it might not or be so exact as this. Maybe you have some bokeh and you want some of your bokeh to sparkle more than others. I mean, there's a number of things. You just have to think and consider what you want your viewers to see. In addition, you have to remember when we go now to the burn tool to make things darker, the magic black. So if you get this dark enough to be black, your magic black is going to be working. So think back to the magic black lesson. I'm going to actually make this brush really large because my flowers are my only focal area, and so I'm going to burn. You notice I have the exposure to 14%, so I can really do this subtly. Let's see, when I was at the dodge, I was at 100%. I probably should have lowered that and done that a little bit slower. But around the edge, this is a great way to get just the edges of your photos to be darker. But I said I don't want any of this over here in the background to be my focal point, especially this little leaf that's coming up here. You know, I want to get that as dark as I can. I don't want that little thing to be, in fact, it might be a good thing to clone it out. It's in the foreground, it's in focus, so let's get that just dark. And so I darkened it up and I played with it in such a manner. Now even here, see, before and after. Look where it is pleasant to look around the whole image, and now watch when I click on this how your eye is shifted to the flowers. And so you can really change the focal point of your photo by using the dodge and the burn. And what's working on the bridge with the burn tool is actually the magic black. It's really I need to just do it a little bit more, but and make it even more black than it was. So let's do the before and after and focus on the bridge, and you see how the bridge has got the textures coming out of it, and the magic black's really working on it. So I'm going to turn these two off and look at my original and see what it's doing there. Okay. So this is how far we've gone in reconstructing, and then I decided I needed to give you a paper. So here is our texture paper that everybody's going to be downloading and hopefully using. And this has got a lot of black in it. So if you wanted to use dodge and burn right on this, clipped to your photo, that might be another thought. But it's got a lot of texture and grunginess, and actually when I first started going through, it made me think of camouflage, military camouflage. But I found that down here, soft light was the best. I love what it did to the background here. And made sort of a marbly effect. See what it looks like? It makes a really yummy digital scrapbooking paper, actually, I think. You just need some edges on this, and that would make a wonderful digital scrapbooking paper. So this is how far I got with that, and I don't even remember, did I lower the opacity on that a little bit? I don't think I did. It's not making much of a difference. And here is my text. Let's add the text back. And you can see it goes around the photo. And once again, here's the dodge and burn. Before, you can see it doesn't even, the flowers are lost. And after, the flowers are not lost. And so, and I made my text kind of go around the flowers. So then I said, well, I really didn't like how this texture was working with making this background even darker back here. It looked okay over here, but the texture, you can see the texture here, before and after, kind of grunging it up. And I thought, well, I got to do some more. Let's just add some more textures. So I got paper number 27. Go back to that lesson and get paper number 27. And I added that. And I applied, here's the texture before, well, part of it anyway. You see, this is the texture before, except for I masked out this area because I didn't like the way it was looking and taking away from my focal part of the photo. So I put a pin and light on it, and I love the way it made the texture around the outer edges. And if I guess I could hit the undo button. I'll show you, let's see, click on the mask. Why aren't you filling? Let's hit save. There's all white. So there's what it looks like without any mask on it. And you can see what it was doing in here to grunge up this fence line and grunge up the bridge and the flowers. And I just really did not like how it was taking away the effect, but I liked how it was putting this shine of light across this dark area that didn't look so good. And so Control Z, and there we go. So I just added a mask so this did not apply to this area here in my photo, and I liked what it did before and after. And I said, well, it's still not tying it all together. Yes, I can see some of that nice stuff going all the way around. And I went and got the art paper 28 and added it. And here's what it looks like normally. Well, not really. Here's what it looks like normally. And I changed it to a 68% blending mode and a lighten, And I said, hey, now that really works. I like that. I like the way the white border with the two of them goes all the way around. And I was about done, but I didn't like this line going across where my image was, and I wanted to blend it. So I went to my image and I added a layer mask, and I went to my brush tool, and I actually got one of these brushes that we made in the brush lesson with the texture. I made it a little bit larger. Remember, white reveals, black conceals, and I just started going back and forth with this brush to get this line out of there on both edges. And so you go back and you add some, oops, and then you see the line again, so you take away some and make it go down into the image a little bit more. You had noticed I have my brush down to 19%, and then maybe come back and add in a little bit more. So it just does this gradual fade out. So I should not sit here and play with this, but that doesn't look too bad actually. So this is what my mask looks like after doing all of that. And now you see the image just is fading out into the background. And then I said, now it feels good. So let's go back, and this one I just made we'll get rid of and go to my original. In fact, I can just delete that new one that we made in the reconstruction. And you can see what I did to finish my layout. But the key to this for your lesson is to use the dodge and burn to change the focal point or add highlights or magic black to your photo. And I look forward to seeing what you do with it. And I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope you are too.